Welcome to my very, very messy art room. I'm going to be decluttering my art studio over the next few days because there is just stuff everywhere on every single surface, and every time I come in here I just don't want to paint because there's stuff everywhere and it's making me feel very unmotivated. So I started off just by gathering as much rubbish off the floor as I could, and I wore odd socks and I kept seeing them in the video, so I said I'd highlight them so that everyone won't judge me for wearing odd socks, but my feet are nice and cozy. Then I decided to go through my oil paints, and I decided years ago to put like cloths in these boxes and then put the oil paints in so there wouldn't be oil paint all over the plastic box. But anyway, it was just very messy, so I decided to remove these, and then I just made one box full of all my paints and then one box full of all the rags that I use for my oil paints, which saves so much on tissue. I just use all these rags, cloths. They're just literally scraps of old fabrics. And then I put all my paints into the box and they were nice and organized. Then I started clearing off my easel shelf and I reorganized like my oils, my linseed oils, my mixers, thinners, varnish, all them, and I displayed them. And I put some of my excess paintbrushes down here. Next up, beside my wardrobe, I have so many like work in progresses. I recorded this clip and I was talking, hence why my hand is going 90 and I'm gesturing so much, but the audio was so bad that I just need to voice over it. But basically I'm saying that I want to move all of the work in progress behind the easel, and I think this will clear up some of this space, and then I can just take out the paintings as I'm working on them, which will be much easier, and it'll just mean I have a bit more space also to leave wet paintings when I want to, because this just looks crazy and it's actually a lot of room behind that stand. I'm not really sure how long of a rant I'm going on, but I think this clip's nearly over. Anyway, now I'm moving the stuff. This shelf is honestly so heavy. I never move it, but yeah, I had a lot of stuff, a lot of room, moved everything back there, and I think it looks great. You can't even see it. You wouldn't know I put anything behind it because the stand is so wide. I still had a lot of crap. I wanted to go through this folder because there was so much stuff in it, and I'm pointing at the side of my wardrobe because I was hoping I might be able to slide them back in a bit. And also the brown board that I have, I use it for stretching canvas and paper, so I like to leave it out. So I'm thinking I might be able to slide it in the side, or else possibly put it up above my wardrobe. And then I need to go through all the stuff on the floor, and also I have more wall space along here which I also use for works in progress, and I don't know if I'll keep them here or if by the end I might have more space and move them, or I might just have them like all in that corner. I was very overwhelmed at this point, and there was just so much going on with stuff everywhere. I was like, I don't know what to do. Anyway, I just went picking up more stuff off the floor, putting it into this black bin bag. There was so much like scraps of paper that I use for just like, I'll put this on the table so then I don't get oil all over the table, and then next thing it gets thrown on the floor, and it's a bit of a disaster. But this is what it looks like, a bit more organized, this space. And then I moved all the little paintings into that corner as well beside the radiator. Anyway, I needed a break from all of the decluttering because I find it very, very overwhelming. So I decided to do some painting. So I got flowers. I don't even know when. My boyfriend always gives me flowers. It's very good. And I wanted to do a still life painting. I don't normally do paintings of flowers, but I thought it'd be nice to kind of get out of my comfort zone and do something a bit different. So I actually already had a bit this done, but I didn't film it, and I did not like the colors. So that's the story of this painting, me just struggling with what colors I wanted the painting to be. So I decided to brighten it up because normally I paint with really bright colors, and I thought this would be really fun. And then I decided to completely change the bottom as well to more like natural creams and browns, and anyway, it was not working, and then started getting really dark and I had no light. And also I was looking at a photograph because the flowers were like withering at this point because I had started the painting and then I stopped, and it's just basically the story of my life when it comes to painting because I'm always procrastinating painting. And yeah, it was just a bit of a mess. I don't know if anyone else that happens to, like, you just start painting and you're like, this is great, and then you go home, like you leave the painting for a while, and then you come back to it and you look at it and you're like, what? Why did I do that? That looks absolutely terrible. So yeah, I started like lightening up the colors because I thought this might improve it, and nothing was working. The process of the painting was enjoyable, like as in applying the paint. I love that. I love the feel of like when you're painting with oils and you've painted on a layer of color and then you come back in with another color and you're like mixing them on the canvas. I love that. Did not enjoy the colors at all. This is also my reference photo if anyone wanted to know. And no, I didn't want to paint it realistically. That's just not really my vibe. I kind of just like taking things and interpreting them in my own way. Again, I needed a break from the painting. This video is just me needing a break from my life, basically. So I decided to make some bread. If you've watched any of my other videos, I am making like a recipe journal and I'm making little illustrations of my recipes. And I decided to make brown bread. And I just basically made up my own recipe because I wanted to make a brown bread with nuts and seeds. So I added walnuts and pecans and sunflower seeds, and the bread came out so good. Like, it was actually so much better than I thought it would be, and that's rare for me because usually when I make bread it comes out like really dry, but this was so flavoursome and the rise I got was unbelievable. So this put me in a much better mood, and when I take my bread out I always wrap it into a tea cloth after, because it keeps the outside, the crust, kind of soft. And I also thought this would make for a cool still life. Okay, we are back in my art studio. This is my wardrobe. It is atrocious and we're going to declutter it. I have stuff here since probably 2022. Yeah, 2022. That's when I literally made this room into my art studio. And I brought all my crap from art college and I just shoved it into this wardrobe and I did not look at it. I just used like what I normally use and everything else was just left in there. It was thrown in there. So I decided I'd take everything out and I go through what I want to keep, what's rubbish. And I also kept a pile for school because I'm a teacher. So I thought, okay, I could have a pile of things that I could potentially bring into school for students as like I could do like prizes of like, oh, you could get this, you could get this. And there was honestly so much crap that I needed to get rid of because I'm a bit of a hoarder. I think a lot of artists are. Like, I already had that black bin bag full before I even started emptying the wardrobe. So I think by the end I had 3 bin bags like full of crap. But there was one bag that was full of like stuff I was going to bring to school. So at least that was good. Because I hate throwing stuff out. I wouldn't throw stuff out that's like not useless, but also there was lots of art supplies like chalks that I do not use. I don't use chalks, and I know I'm not going to use chalks. I just love painting, and I could always go out in the future and buy a little packet of chalks if I need it, but I'm not going to hoard onto that much stuff where I find it completely overwhelming to go in and look at my supplies. I'm like, no, it's not worth it. So yeah, I organized everything and it was very satisfying once I had everything put in and all the black bin bags were full. I also put my sketchbooks down the bottom, and I have 2 tiny little drawers at the bottom. I didn't even like show you them because I had them fairly organized. There was just paper in them and sticker sheets and spare canvas material like linen, so I didn't even show them. It was just the wardrobes that were the problem. Then I went through all of my markers. When I tell you, I have so many markers. I don't know if you can see the 2 little tubs at the top. I had so many and I was like, I don't know if any of these even work. Turned out a lot of them did work. They just were kind of dirty looking. So I actually ended up cleaning them all as well. And I put them back onto their little hooky things. This is the room, finally, looking clean. And I actually started another painting since. I feel so much better now that it's clean, and I actually feel so much more motivated. Like, I can actually see my paintings, I can see the floor. It's fantastic, and I just think I will get so much more done, and I need to do this more often. I think I might try and do a reset maybe every 2 months, and it might just keep me on track, and this painting will be in a future video. I can't believe the difference in the wardrobe. This is like my painting clothes down the bottom, but I'm thinking I could get hangers and I could hang them up either here or on the hanger up there, or else potentially I could make some shelves. But there's not that much in them bags, and also I have the bag supplies that I want to bring to school. Then in here I have like paints, I have glues, I have solvents, I have cleaning supplies, I have paintbrushes, I have sketchbooks, everything that I need, and it's so much more organized and I know literally what is on each shelf. And then up on top I just have spare canvases and old canvases, like literally I have some canvases from when I was like 10. Anyway, I want to do this painting for a second, show you what I mean by the fact that my paintings are usually very colourful, which is what I thought this painting would be. I thought it would be really colourful and vibrant like most of my paintings, but I just was not. It was like I was fighting the painting when I was having all these colours going on, and I was like, okay, I need to just change something. So I decided I'd actually change the shadow, and I decided to get rid of the shadow part that I had, and I was like, I'm getting rid of that, and I had a blue. So recently I went to Malaga on holidays and I went to a Picasso museum, and I actually think it subconsciously influenced me, but I didn't realise till I finished this painting, because by the end you'll see I have, like, the background is quite dark and moody, and I normally don't paint with such dark colours, which is fine. It's good to change it up, and I definitely felt out of my comfort zone. Also, I don't know if anyone else does this, but when I'm painting I need to like wheel back out of my chair, or sometimes I'll like walk out of the room and stand at the door to look at the painting from a distance, because I need to see it from a distance. Otherwise I don't know if I'm actually doing a good job, and also just spinning around on my chair satisfies me. But as you can see, I like layered up the colours in the background, and it just, once I got to that point I was like, okay, this is working, and I felt like the shadow underneath the jar was so much better, or the vase. Sorry, excuse me. So then I started painting the flowers, and I did them really simply. Like, I literally just painted a bunch of blobs at first, because I was like, at this point I was kind of like, okay, I don't really want the flowers to be the main focus of the painting. Even though yes, I am doing still life of flowers, but I was just like, I just want to have fun. And I really enjoyed painting the water. I kind of just wanted to feel like the leaves, the stems of the flower were submerged, and I'm not used to painting water at all. So I was like, what the heck am I doing? And I just decided to use my finger to like blend the paint to make it kind of blurry. So I like painting wet on wet with oil paints, but I also love letting layers dry and then going back in with fresh coats of paint, like it's a dry surface and you're like starting again. I realized I hated them two flowers that were like flopping over, and I tried to remove them with my rag because I couldn't remember if I had just painted them or if they were dry. Turned out they were dry, and I decided I would paint over them with the background, and I'm so glad I did. I just felt like they were unbalancing my composition, and this is the final painting. I came to it. This video was a journey because I started off hating my room, hating my painting, and by the end I had a clean room. It was organized. I love my painting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.